Story mapping. Hey everyone, it's Mark with WIPMX.com, and this is the Infinity Project. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to be notified about new videos. So there's a couple of things I'd like to cover really quick. As you can see, I've changed the name of my YouTube channel from the Forever Project to the Infinity Project, or TIP. I just like how TIP sounds for obvious reasons. Also, I've mentioned in the past I normally check YouTube in an effort to ensure that my videos are unique. In this case, every video that I found on story mapping pretty much covers the same material. So, if this sounds like something that you've heard before on a different video, let me apologize in advance. Sorry. Again, this is going to be very high level. So with that said, let's get started. So I wanted to touch on story mapping. From my experience, story mapping is the process of associating user stories with a particular epic. Your user journey should consist of numerous epics. So in this example, we're just going to use a grocery store app, and we're just going to have 4 epics. If this were real world scenario, we'd probably have anywhere between 10 and 15. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going with 4. Now, in your product backlog, your PBIs, product backlog items, each one should fall into one of these containers, one of these epics. So let's break that down. We'll take a look at the search epic, for example. Now, under search, we have stories related to your product catalog and your product details page. Now, for those of you not familiar with e-commerce, your product catalog, when you go to Amazon and you type in the search field, look, you're already in search. But you type in the search field, something like boxing gloves, and then you hit enter. The options that come up, you'll see a ton of boxing gloves, different manufacturers, colors, makes, models, what have you. That's your product catalog. If you want to learn more about a particular glove and you click on it, that's your product detail. So product catalog, product detail, completely different from your product backlog. Just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. So the stories associated with search should be stories associated with creating your product catalog and your product details page. So this would include things like filters, menus, just any stories like that. In the case of the grocery store app, you may have in your product details, you may have allergies or allergens, depending on how you want to say it. Food pairings, wine pairings, craft beer pairings. So those sort of things fall under search. Next, we would go to the select epic. So you've searched around, you found something that you want to get it. So the stories that are associated with, say, creating the cart icon in your add to cart, the ability to remove items from the cart. What else is there? Wish list. So those sort of things that you're selecting will fall under this epic. Next is purchase. Purchase should be pretty straightforward. It's like payment options like credit card, PayPal, payment gateways, maybe Bitcoin. You should have stories that cover, shipping address or other type of delivery options, 2-day delivery, next day, whatever. And then finally, you have like sharing. Sharing could be social media, or maybe you want to sign up for some sort of email notification whenever they have specials or deals. So these are your 4 containers. Now, everything, again, your PBIs, your product backlog items, should be able to fall into one of these 4 containers. If not, then you just create a 5th. Or you modify the user story. It depends on if there's enough reason to go in one direction or the other. Now, if you look at the screen here, you'll see that we have the release plan. Release 1, release 2, release 3. Again, this is all based on my experience. My releases go hand in hand with my sprints. So this would be sprint 1, basically, sprint 2, sprint 3, and it spans across the entire user journey. So it's not just the search items, it's all the way from search to share. And you can see what you're expecting to be released in that particular sprint. And then depending on how in your iterations, if they're 2 weeks, this is a 6-week period. If you're doing 30 days, if you're doing 30 days, and this represents a quarter. So think of this as forecasting in waterfall. If this represents a quarter, then you can see at the end of that quarter what you plan to release. So, you're getting that vision. And this should be really beneficial, really helpful to let you know, like, if you're staying on track or if you're starting to slip. And in fact, we cover that down here. So as you can see, like with number 1, your epics, this will normally represent your user journey. Relevant user stories are mapped accordingly. And then you can see, like, down below under search, number 2 here, these are your actual stories matched to each epic. 3 is your release plan or release planning across the full user journey. This includes multiple sprints, because remember, again, I said each one of these in my case represents a sprint. This is a hopeful estimate to be used as a guideline. This isn't written in stone. Again, this is Agile. We stay nimble, quick on our feet. We can pivot and move in whatever direction we need to continue to deliver a shippable product. I always hated that term. And then finally, number 4, basically the release sequence reflects expectations about which features will be implemented and when they are expected to be completed. This also serves as a base to monitor progress within the project. So again, this is just like a loose guideline on where you are, where you're going, and where you should end up. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep this video short. If you like this item right here, just leave your email address in the comment, or just direct message me and I'll email this to you free of charge, of course. So with that said, again, subscribe. Thank you for your time. And this is the tip of the day. Thanks.